Hi, everybody. Welcome to Ask Matt a Question, episode number 10. And we are on location at Tracy's apartment doing an offsite meeting. So we thought it would be fun to just do our call from here. Our question for today is, what's one tool I can use to introduce my kids to the conversation of money? That's a difficult question because there's probably 1,000 different tools, but the one that we've used in our family to start to introduce the conversation is the family meeting, where each week we sit down as a family and discuss the schedule for the week. We discuss chores and allowance and how much of your allowance you earned. This was all driven by my wife and her desire to make sure they understood the cost and value of the different things that we were doing. So, as we went along in this process, we allowed them to be more and more involved. So, for example, if there was something we were going to do on the weekend, we might give them a choice. Do you want to go to the beach or do you want to go out to dinner? And then we'd talk about this choice. We make lunch and it doesn't cost us anything. If we go out, then it costs us money, and that may keep us from being able to do other things. And so we had those discussions along the way. And as my kids have gotten older, my son is just about to turn 13 and my daughter's 16. Now we can have conversations about vacations. Do we want to go on a ski trip? Or do we want to go stay at a house on the beach? And here's the cost, and here's what that looks like. And everybody gets a vote, although mom and dad's votes count a little bit more. We set it up so it's always an option that's acceptable to us if they choose one or the other. We don't give options that are not acceptable. And that starts to create that conversation about value and what's important. And now, as we start getting into the conversation of college and how we can afford that, what are different things that we can do, such as getting grants or scholarships. As the kids get bigger, as they get older, the conversation about money gets a little bit more in depth. One of the conversations that was really driven by me is the investment conversation. Both my kids are invested and have been for years in different things that they on their own chose. So my son has purchased a couple cryptocurrencies. My daughter mostly has her money in CDs and things. But being able to have those conversations and discuss why you might invest in one thing versus another, discussing stocks. So we did a stock project where I had them pick 5 of their favorite products, such as Nintendo, or my daughter liked Ulta for getting makeup and personal supplies and things like that. And so we discussed each of those companies, discussed the value of each company, dividends, if any, and then chose our stocks to invest in. And then each week for a few months, we reviewed how those stocks did. And so we introduced that without the risk of losing money, but to just kind of compare how we were doing and why our selections were doing better versus the ones that weren't. So the family meeting is really a place where you can introduce all types of conversations around money and really get rid of that fear and misunderstanding that I think many kids, even in college and out of college, still don't have a full grasp of the money concept and how to use it for your benefit rather than it being a missing. So, I hope this was helpful. Hope this gives you guys some ideas, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Thanks.